we are so excited and honored to have Yosemite Facelift be presenting in our booth today. They're going to be talking about how they're doing, what they're doing around Yosemite's sustainability. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Ken Yager.
Hello, thank you. We're going to start off with a little video that North Face did for us last year.
I started climbing in 1971 when I was 12 years old, and during that time I did my first climbing trip in Yosemite. I mean, it was just so special to me. I was so infatuated with climbing after that trip, and I started climbing buildings just for fun. And I was kind of like this elusive guy that police were always trying to catch, and they did eventually catch me. And then it wasn't that big a deal, but they just called my parents, and my parents were like, what do you expect? He's a climber. So I moved up here. I was a climbing guide, and we're like tiptoeing through toilet paper everywhere. I mean, literally hundreds and hundreds of toilet papers, and it was so gross. When I started the facelift, we just started grabbing stuff, recycling what we can, and in the last 14 years we've cleaned up over 1 million pounds. Our biggest challenge or law would be how to use these areas with less impact.
Anyway, welcome, and I'd like to thank everybody for the opportunity to talk about the facelift. I mentioned the toilet paper in that little video. That's what got me to start this whole event in 2004. This year will be our 16th annual. As I mentioned in the video, we've cleaned up over 1 million pounds. When we started out, it wasn't just toilet paper. We were finding stuff like this out there. It was everywhere. There were mattresses, old construction projects, and that's one year we found, I think it was about 10 tons of wire. I mean, it was incredible how much stuff was out there. And the first year we did it, it was a 3-day cleanup, and it was all just the climbers. I went with my pickup truck, had litter sticks, bags, safety vests, and I recruited all my friends that were staying in Camp 4. And we did it for 3 days, and we got maybe 40, 50 truckloads of trash. But what I realized that everybody was having such a good time that I got to do it again next year. I got a little bit of flack from people that lived in the area. They said, oh, you only did a 3-day cleanup. Well, I had to work all 3 days. Why don't you do it longer so I can help out next year? And so the next year I started a 5-day cleanup. It's very exhausting. I've tried to make it more and more fun every year. We have a sign-up area, and people sign in, and right here they get a little education on archaeology. I've run into some roadblocks over the years. One of them was we were picking up stuff that was over 50 years old, and so we had to educate everybody, and we actually wrote up a plan that the Park Service uses around the country now. So, these days we see about 2,200, I think we had over 2,200 unique volunteers last year. It's a 5-day cleanup. We started off with an evening program on a Tuesday night. This year will be September 24th. If you're in the area, come on out. We have 6 nights of evening programs. We have 5 days of raffles. We also have the local schools do a field trip, and that's what's going on here. They come up and find trash, and we weigh it, and then we sort through it, try to recycle as much as possible. We're getting better and better every year. We don't find the big stuff anymore. It's all cigarette butts, plastic bottles. We're involved with TerraCycle now, so we recycle all the cigarette butts. I don't know if anybody realizes you can do that. I know you guys do. But anyway, it's pretty incredible the energy we've had from this over the years. Lynn did a show for us 3 or 4 years ago. I feel like most of you are my friends. Anyway, thanks for showing up. We also do some technical cleanups. We've cleaned up Camp 6 on El Cap. We've cleaned up Half Dome. One year, the Park Service gave us a helicopter, and I was like, whoa, this is pretty cool. We also partner nowadays with the Park Service, which is amazing. So they help us run the daytime portion of the event. We take care of the raffles. We have a raffle every day for the kids and for the adults. Our raffles are pretty incredible. We get a pretty good turnout, usually about 400 or 500 show up for these raffles. And it gets a little bit crazy. What's neat about the raffle is if you don't win today, come back and clean up trash tomorrow and I'll give you another ticket. We do a whole new raffle. So most people that come up will actually stay and clean up all 5 days. There's been people that have met at the very first facelift and they come every year and they're friends during this 1 week out of the year, and it's really incredible. And you just kind of feel the energy as you go throughout the whole week, and that's what I find to be really amazing. And anyway, I never thought it would turn into this big event, but we just try to make it better every year. So, and I'm going to turn this over to Allyson. I was very fortunate to meet Allyson. She started helping out. I think, when was your first facelift?
2013.
In 2013, and then she offered to help with this event. I used to do it by myself, and I do this while working a full-time job, and I probably donate well over 1,000 hours a year to put this event on. So it was really welcome to Allyson, and she's taking a bigger and bigger role every year. And I'm going to have her speak here for the rest of it, and she can kind of give you guys a different perspective from somebody that just showed up and has gotten more and more involved in the event. How many people have been to a facelift? Quite a few. Well, hopefully you'll be there one time. We always do it in September, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm going to turn it over to Allyson, and thank you, Allyson.
And how many people want to go to a facelift? Yeah! So I'm going to talk a little bit about the future of facelift. Ken, as he said, has been working on this since 2004, and he has never been paid for his efforts. So the first thing that we would like to do by adding growth and a little bit of organization to the nonprofit, the Yosemite Climbing Association, is get some employees and some salaries. So we're working on grant proposals to grow our budget. And we do have a wonderful, dedicated core staff group who come together every year to put this event on. This is, only just a small portion of the core staff who we have. Ken mentioned we have a registration area, we have people working there, and then also at our evening programs. The event would not be possible without those staff members and our volunteers, 2,200 who showed up last year. So the future of Facelift. My name's Allyson Gunsallus. I'm the managing director of the Yosemite Climbing Association, and it has been an absolute privilege to share the stage with Ken. He is an inspiration. He identified a problem in Yosemite National Park and developed a solution, and only because of putting one foot in front of another, actually was able to take action and put that solution into play. I think one of the significant things that he didn't mention that this effort has led to is a better relationship between the National Park Service and climbers in the park. So over the 16 years that Ken has been working on this event, the relationship with the Park Service has gotten better and better. We actually take a lot of guidance from the park as far as where volunteer efforts are needed. So we work with the park to give them volunteers for projects. They really rely on Facelift for that week of volunteers for projects that they don't necessarily have staff for. Another thing to mention is last year we had 11,700 volunteer hours. When you do the math on that, that is one person working full-time for almost 6 years. And that happened in 5 days of volunteering. And for every one of those hours, the Park Service Volunteer Program actually gets funds from the federal government. So that led to about $500,000 in funds for Yosemite National Park. So that is something, because of the dedication of Ken, me, and our core staff, that the Park Service has been able to take advantage of. So my first facelift, I want to go back if I can. My first facelift was in 2013, and I became more involved in 2016 because the energy at the event is absolutely contagious. I've had so many people come up to me and say, you know what, I forgot how good it feels to give back. And I was here in the park, I'm a climber, and I came and I volunteered, and I remember now how rewarding it is and fulfilling it is to give back. So not only have we cleaned up the park, we have created a group of people who wouldn't necessarily have given time in service, who then leave the park, go out into the world, and they remember what it feels like to be a good steward and to give back to their communities. So people ask us, how can we help you? Obviously, going to YosemiteClimbing.org, scrolling to the bottom and clicking on Donate would be a huge help. But another great help would be just to remember this story, that as one person, if you see a problem, all you have to do to be a part of the solution is just keep moving forward. You can actually make a difference as one person. If you see a problem, rather than sitting back and not doing anything about it. We could all make our communities better places by using Ken and Facelift as an example. So I want to close with our plans for the future. As we're growing, which is wonderful, we're hoping to bring Facelift to 4 additional national parks around the country. So we put together a grant proposal, and we do have some interested grantors to help fund that project. We're hoping in 2021 to launch that. Finally, I want to thank Subaru, Leave No Trace, Google for giving us the opportunity to be here today and share a little bit of our story with you. I hope it inspires you. Also, our highlighted sponsors this year, North Face, Black Diamond, and Cliff. Without their financial support, this wouldn't be possible, and we're very lucky to have all of our sponsors, the park, and our volunteers. I think we want to close with that and take any questions if there are any at this time. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you so much for Yosemite Facelift. We are so honored and pleased to have these guys in our booth and be part of what we're talking about, conservation and bringing new things to light in the climbing industry. The climbing industry is more than just fun now. It's really become a sustainable business and practice of everything. So next up, we have got, thank